Well, I was going to say I'm back at the mental, but I'm not. I'm almost back at the mental. A few updates, stories and anecdotes. Firstly, I'm going to show you the Treverion. Which it's very slippy, so bear with me. So yeah, just leading out of the Gwyniai. This is Treverion. Yeah, see that there? And that was purchased by the North Wales Hospital authorities in 1927, and it was used for patients to convalesce. That's what it was originally used for, and after that the chief medical superintendent occupied it, and in 1977 it was converted into the mental, or the North Wales Hospital Social Club, but it was known locally as the Mental Club. So that's the Treverion. And just a bit further down the road is the mental itself. Which I'll show you now. In the distance there, you can see there's the mental. Well, bore da! I'm back at the mental. And Mr. Security's there. What's he doing? Oh, he's just gone on the back of the nurse's home. He might make another appearance. And here's the cars. So yeah, update time and a few stories, a few anecdotes and stuff like that. Yeah, Mr. Security's on his rounds. I can't see his pickup. It looks like he's walking around, but he was just there. He's gone around the back. No doubt he'll make another appearance. So right, let's get going. Some of these things I will have talked about before, and some things I won't have talked about, but I'm back at the mental. So there is the isolation, or the isolation ward, or the isolation hospital. That's where the patients were put if they had contagious diseases. It was a hospital within a hospital, and above there was a laboratory. There was a lab there where they used to work on cures and stuff like that. And just, where are we? Where's my finger? There, you would see the chimney. It's obviously not there today, but right in the centre there, that's where the chimney, it would probably be like that. It was a 100-foot chimney, and it was the steam, there were the boilers and stuff, and it was the steam heating system, and I'll talk a bit about that a bit later. They had 3,000, they used 3,000 tonnes of coal a year, and they had a standing stock of roughly 300 tonnes. And there he is there, Mr. Security, doing his rounds. He's walking today. And he's not going to give me a wave, he never has done. Anyway, he's walking around today. Don't think he's clocked me yet. But yeah, there's a new heating system that was developed. And if you looked from, a few mile radius, if you looked towards the mental, the first thing you'd see was the chimney. And they had a team of patients which used to chip the coal to the size to fit the boilers. Because a lot of the patients, they had jobs and they were happy there, contrary to what one or two people think. Obviously in the very early days it was hell for people with mental health because it wasn't understood, but people that were in the mental in the later years, they were happy there. They weren't mistreated or tortured or anything that you hear these stories. And like I say, the majority of them had jobs. Yeah, he's walking around today. And yeah, the woodwork, the farm, used to work on the farm and stuff like that. And I'll show you where we used to cook our apples. The orchard was there. We used to jump over the wall, we used to pinch apples, and we used to cook the apples there on the heating pipe. There was an exposed section, there was a network of heating pipes. And that's what we used to do, is to cut the apple in half. As I say, if you're a regular, you will know, I've said a lot of these stories before, and I'll just pop round and I'll show you where we used to cook them. We used to cut them in half, and put them on the pipe. You couldn't touch the pipe, it was that hot. So I'll show you that now, where the orchard exactly was and where we used to cook the apples. Come back down now. Went for a bit of a wander up to the chapel. He's come back down. He's not in his pickup today. He won't give me a wave. So, right, I'll show you now. Just the side of the nurse's home. And that side there, that's the back of the nurse's home. And that side there, that's the front of the nurse's home. And I'll show you pheasant there. I'll show you the where the engineer used to live. They built a house for him, more or less in the same stonework as they built the mental with. So, right, across the road here. Oh, slippy again. Right, the orchard was here. That's where the orchard was. And there was a gardener. Sometimes he was there, sometimes he wasn't. We used to just jump over this wall here into the orchard, get the apples and get back over, and we used to go up there. I'll show you where the pipe was. Now this is the engineer's house, or was the engineer's house. There's Talavan and Gwynfryn. They were part of the mental, they were separate wards. So that's the engineer's house there. Down that drive there, which passes the front of the nurse's home, comes to the engineering section of the mental. And that's where the engineer used to live. So, right, that's the orchard there, in this corner here. And cars come in. I'll just make my way up to there, and I'll speak to you then. So this is where we used to come. We used to have our jerseys pulled up, full of apples. I'll just show you. This is the front of the nurse's home. She's there. And as I say, that's the engineer's house. And the engineering section is at the end of that drive. So this is where we used to come. There's the orchard down there. We used to come up here. Hopefully, if it's not too overgrown, you'll see, there it is. That's where we used to cook the apples. On that pipe there. At the bottom of it, there's an exposed section, and I think that top corner we used to use as well. But that is a section of the heating systems, a network of pipes, and they're like insulated with like insulation and like chicken wire to hold it. But we never damaged it. It was always an exposed section. Just wipe. It's raining, spotting with rain. Yeah, we didn't do any damage, but you couldn't touch it. It was that hot. And we used to cut the apples in half. As soon as you put it on the pipe, it used to start sizzling. Maybe probably about 30 seconds, something like that, a minute, and you'd have a cooked apple. So that's what we used to do. Right, I'll head up on the top road now and down to the front gates. So that's where the orchard was, in this corner here. Quite often we get a chase, but you never used to catch us off a gardener. Sometimes he was there, sometimes he wasn't. So that's how we used to have our apples. If ever we felt like a cooked apple, we pop there, nick some apples and cook them on the pipe. Right, I'll speak to you in a minute. You gonna give us a wave? No, he's not. Our paths have crossed. Whether it was him, I don't know, but our paths have crossed a few times. So yeah, the chimney, as I said, it would be like that. Stick it up there, roughly there. 100 foot tall, and it was built in 1899. And it was part of, obviously, the steam heating system, which I've shown you that pipe. It was a network of pipes. Alright, I'll drop down to the main entrance that was used to in and out of the mental. Where's he gone? There he is. Where is he? He's walking today. Sometimes he parks up in his pickup and then he has a bit of a wander, but no sign of his pickup today. So I'll head down to the main gate that was used in and out of the mental. There's only two entrances. The entrance from there, across that way, like I said, where the engineer used to live, past the front of the nurse's home. I think he's watching me now. He's probably thinking, oh, he's back, that Denbigh Vids fella. Can't keep away from the place. And yeah, that was the one entrance. It wasn't used very much, but the main entrance is down here, which is all locked up today with the giant Lego bricks, as I call them. So I'll speak to you in a minute. So this is, or just approaching, the main entrance that was used in and out of the mental. And that house there, that was occupied at one time by the chief male nurse. Used to live there, which is handy, innit? Just opposite the drive. That's where he used to live. So yeah, this is there's the giant Lego bricks, albeit frozen giant Lego bricks. And this was the main entrance in and out. And there's the front door. The front door there, where I witnessed a patient fall into his death when I was about 8 or 9, something like that. As I say, all these stories, a lot of these stories are on the channel in more detail. But I was the only one that witnessed it. The patient came out, he looked at me and he attempted to walk down the steps and he fell, bang, and he died instantly. And I was the only one that witnessed it. Thank you. I was the only one that witnessed it. Oh, you can see where he's come with his pickup. He's come as far as there and he's turned round. See the tyre marks? Anyway, that's the front of the mental there. The main drive, the main gate in and out. Yeah, I was the only one that witnessed it when I was about 7 or 8, something like that. Right, head to the entrance they're using now. Jones Brothers have built it. One of the entrances, if they ever get around to doing it, one of the entrances to the complex is going to be there. The other side, that drive and that gate's not going to be used. It's going to be there. And the other entrance is down here. So, if they ever get around to doing it. And yeah, see if security, if he wants to come and have a word, he's more than welcome, because I know they watch my videos. I wonder if I'm going to get a Christmas card. I had a Christmas card off them one year. Right, I'll get back to you in a minute. And these buildings here, well, some of the buildings was part of the mental farm. As you can see there, the old sign, Pennant Farm and buildings. But there's been a lot of like new houses and flats and stuff, but that is one of the original buildings. But it wasn't originally called Pennant Farm. In the days of the mental it was called something else, and I can't think from the top of my head. I've done videos on it, but that was part of the farm, and they used to do a lot of farming in the fields. As I was on the top road, as you look at the nurse's home, them fields behind the nurse's home, they used to do a farm there as well. But that was the original, one of the original farm buildings. A lot of the buildings on this wall and everything, they're all being built, you know, to match the stonework. But it wasn't, not the original buildings. But as I said, I can't quite think off the top of my head. But it's Pennant Farm, but it wasn't originally called Pennant Farm. It had another name, a different name. So this is the Jones Brothers entrance that they've made. And as you see, the gate's all locked up there. But wow, I'll walk on the grass, I think. Looks very slippy. So yeah, just to give you an idea, that's you can see there the front there. The Allard ward and female 7A, 7B and 8 wards are there and what have you. But you see, hopefully, there a bit of the canteen, and the back of the canteen is a drive. Hang on, zoom out a bit. Drive that goes up there, it's up to the morgue and the chapel. The incinerator is at the back there, and the dump where they used to dump all the rubbish and stuff. And I'll show you bit later, there was a second dump where we used to go rummaging when we were kids. So yeah, so that's the entrance. As I say, you can see it's all locked up, but he's in the grounds. I'm not going to attempt walking across there. Right, I'm going to, I'll see you, speak to you when I'm at the cinder track, which is just around that corner there, and it runs along that way. So I'll speak to you in a minute. So this is the cinder track, which is haunted, and it is haunted. It's supposed to be haunted by an old man. I've captured some sort of apparitions and orbs and stuff, but never actually seen or captured the old man. But that's it's whether he's connected with a mental or as a patient or whatever. Yeah, I don't know, but it's supposed to be haunted by an old man. And I make no apologies for repeating myself. The reason it's called the cinder track is because the waste cinders that used to burn the coal with the steam heating system, used to have cinders left over, and this is where they used to dump it along this track. When we used to come here when we were kids, it used to be probably about 4 inches thick of black cinders. It used to crunch. It would be a job to ride a bike on it. You wouldn't get very far before you fell off it. It'd be thick with black cinder. So that's what they used to do. Another thing they used to do with chuck the rubbish and the cinders over there, just chuck it down the hill there. And I've got a lot of artifacts and stuff, porcelain and medicine bottles and stuff, which I've not got round to cleaning them. I've had a good route. That was years ago, and I got a big bag full of stuff, but for one reason or another I've not got round to to cleaning them up and doing a little video. But that's where they used to chuck the stuff down there. That was one of the tips. There was three places where they used to dump rubbish. One was in the grounds at the back, where I showed you where the incinerator was. There's a pile of rubbish there, and there's a pile of rubbish down there, so just chuck it over. And as I say, all this would be black, be thick cinders, and I'll show you where the other rubbish tip was. I'll show you that in a minute. So yeah, this is the cinder track, which is haunted. Did I mention that? Might not have mentioned it. Yeah, and when we were kids, we were always at the pavilion, and the rugby ground and the rugby pitch and the cricket ground. I'll show you a bit later where they are. But when we were making our way there, when we were kids, we never used to walk all the way round and come down the cinder track. We always used to cut through. We used to pass the chimney and come round the canteen. This wasn't here, it was all open, and we used to come down there and down here and down that way to the pavilion, which I will show you now. Yeah, we never used to come all the way around. We always cut through. A bunch of kids, be half a dozen of us. There'd be doctors and nurses and staff and all that. No one ever used to question, say, "Oh, you kids, what you doing here?" No one used to bother us. So just walk through the grounds. Yeah, and this is where we used to come down here. I'll show you the rugby pitch and the cricket ground, and where there's a little bit of the pavilion left. I'll show you that in a second. Okay, I'm almost at the pavilion, but if I just show you here, so at the top there, that was one of the tips, where the tip was, and the incinerator was here. It's a large incinerator where they used to burn a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff they used to dump. There was another tip, which I'll show you that in a second. But this is the rugby pitch and the cricket ground, which was laid. It was flattened off and laid, built, shall we say, or made in the 1960s, mainly with patient labour. They got the patients to build it and to make it and what have you. But yeah, I'll show you now. That's where the rugby pitch was, that side, and the cricket ground was that side. It goes way down that way, and there's the pavilion. It used to have a brickwork base, which you can just about see there, and at the top it was all made out of timber, but many years ago now it went on fire. It got burnt, Burned to the, and all that's left is the brickwork. Yeah, there's the rugby posts there. There's rugby posts at that end there, and that's, like I say, that's where the cricket pitch was. So cricket ground, I should say. It's rugby pitch and cricket ground, isn't it? So, and I'll show you in a couple of seconds where there was another tip where we used to go rummaging when we were kids. All sorts of, yeah, and the cinders still carry on all the way along the track here. So yeah, as you can see, this is the rugby pitch here, and that area there, all of that big area there, that was another tip. That's where we just go rummaging. We used to have old beds there, wheelchairs, mattresses, furniture and all sorts there. We used to rummage through it. There's a pile of stuff there, all in that area there. That's where they used to dump it. But this is the rugby pitch here. It's what was the pavilion, and the cricket ground the other side. Yeah, so as I say, that's all the there was old beds and stuff like that there, mattresses and things, a pile of stuff. And we used to go rooting through it, see what we could find. Right, I'll head my way back up to the top road and I'll speak to you then. Unless I have an encounter with Mr. Security. You never know. But I'm not going to goad him, I'm not going to bait him. I've talked about this before as well, that's not my style. You see, you've got these auditors and yeah, they go and all they're interested in is creating a scene and getting something on camera. That's not my style. I'm just documenting a mental. I've said it once and I'll say it again. If they leave me alone, I'll leave them alone. 25 years I've been documenting the mental and I ain't going to stop anytime soon, and no one's going to stop me. Obviously, you know, I'm not entering the grounds. I used to do my fair bit of trespassing, which I'll admit to. And the police, I get on with the police fine. The police know exactly what I'm doing. I get on with them. I've always had a good relationship with the police. The security, not so. I've had some good times and not so good times with the security, but that's what they like at me. You get good cop, bad cop, don't you? But I've always had, you know, with the actual police themselves, they've been great with me. They know what I'm doing. They know I'm not a vandal. But yeah, like I said, that's not my style. I'm not an auditor. You know, these auditors, they get a bit boring, don't they? I used to watch them and I got fed up of them. That's all they do is just, they're not interested in what they're actually going to film. They just want security to confront them and cause a scene and get it all on camera and what have you. But that's not what I'm about. No, I am not an auditor. I'm documenting the mental, its demise. That's what I'm doing, and that's what I do, and that's what I've done for 25 years. I said it once, and I'll say it again. I ain't going to stop anytime soon. But yeah, if Mr. Security wants to come and have a word, you know, more than welcome. Right, back along the cinder track, and as I said, I'll head up to the top road, but you never know what might happen in between. Danger! Keep out! Well, I'm back at the top road, as you can see, and hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed my little update. Some of the history, stories and anecdotes of the mental. So thanks for watching as always, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again.